Perfect.
Let's see. Does everything look as it should? I think it does. Wait a minute. What the hell?
I have no idea.
Something's looking weird.
It's burning your clock this time, so I'm fine with it.
Oh, I'm not worried.
Oh, I know. I'm
There's like
slow
a permanent thing up on my stream, and I don't know why. What's it doing? Edit scene. No. Well, I'll play over here for now. What is that thing? And oh, there we go. Okay, turned it off. We're good. It's go time, baby.
Okay. Well, let's see. I learned the starting move thing you wanted. How do I want to start my attack?
It's not chess, man. You don't have to attack anything.
I'm not attacking. I'm positioning.
Everything's cool.
Yep. But I have to figure out which corners I want to fight for first.
I play a very standard game of Go.
Oh?
Yeah, like I play very normally, I guess.
Okay, I guess my moves aren't very normal.
Yeah, your moves are very weird.
How so, though? Like, just because I'm sporadic?
Well, because you're a beginner, you like some moves you find because you're thinking really hard, and they are accidentally like really solid moves, and other moves you play, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
I do have
You're
that
an
habit.
idiot.
I ran into one of
Morons,
those.
beginners, man, who don't know what the fuck they're doing, and then you surprise me. Then you go back to being an idiot, and it's like, it's confusing, you know? It's like dating that girl where you're not sure if she's like really into you or not because you haven't had sex yet, you know, and it's all kind of awkward and weird.
It. And I had one of those moments when I was playing with Havok,
Oh yeah.
because we did a match, and he, like, there was one move where I could have just shut him out from the whole bottom area, but I didn't see it, and neither did he, and then we looked back over our game, and, because, I mean, I still beat him by, like, 60 points.
Yeah.
But I've been sick the last week or so, so I've just been looking at the game, trying to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
It's still bad about time. Do I want to start fighting over this? What do I want to do? Yeah, I want to fight this.
Doo-be-doo-doo.
Oh. Bertham's talking to me. Oh no.
Can you get a brief explanation of this game? Sure thing, Electric Odyssey. It is a game of controlling territory. White and black fight to see how much space on the board they can control, and then that's about it. Now, why is it that what I see on stream is different from what I see on OBS right now? Oh, it's when is it when I'm focused over here? Might be.
See, I don't want to walk down that way now that you've done that. At least not yet.
Yeah, basically white and black alternate turns. If you completely surround a stone or a group of stones, you get to capture it and remove it from the board. And yeah, you do stuff and you capture shit and everybody's happy.
Pretty much, yeah. Or you could just be like me and play it out, and then I'll probably run out of time. This is like a habit I don't know if I can kick, just because it's inborn from chess. Because I hate blitz.
Oh, from thinking, I don't like Go Blitz either, but it's just one of those things. Like because I've played so much, I guess. Like I don't know.
Yep. My issue is more like, I like to take time for each move to make sure that it's keeping with my strategy or that I adjust things.
Yeah.
And because I still don't know the flow of the game.
Ha!
We have our first fatality.
Got one. Another
Yeah.
one bites the dust. Another one bites the dust. Oh, something.
Let's go play there. Okay. Dang, I actually expected you to fight me for that. So, when playing, like, does learning how to respond like you do, where it's like you can just kind of fill things out? Does that just come with time, or is it
Yeah, so there's in fact in the book I told you to get,
Yeah,
there's a
no.
whole chapter on how the stones go walking.
Okay. I need to look
I
through
think
that
it's
one
in
then.
that book. But yeah, it's basically there's this concept that the stones walk. So there's all manner of things related to what that means and why. But like for each stone that's placed, there's like a number of things that you can do in response to it. So like kind of the thought process is, you know, so like when you played at E17, I was like, is this an urgent move? Like, is this something that I need to respond to,
Yeah.
you know, right frickin' now? Is it urgent? And if a move is urgent, then you have to respond to it. And urgency is usually defined by like, is a group gonna die? Do I want this area? Like, you know, all those malleable things.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
If it's not urgent, then you can, I believe the phrase is tanuki.
I don't know. I don't have it memorized.
I gotta get my Go terms up. But basically, there's a term that means to play elsewhere, which is you just like leave the immediate local area and you go play somewhere else on the board where there's bigger points available.
So that's kind of why like our board is so spaced out at the start.
Yeah, it's very. In the beginning, there's not a lot of things that are urgent besides corners, right? So as soon as you believe that a position is settled, you can tanuki to play elsewhere, or sometimes people will tanuki just to like throw off the rhythm of their opponent. But if they do it in a scenario where their stones aren't settled, then they can lose like a local battle by ignoring it,
Yeah.
which sucks. So like you kind of have to be picky choosy about where you play and why, and when as well. You know, so like the part that gets a lot of people is the middle game of Go, where you have it's not very obvious as to like what's urgent or what's big, you know, like where like the most valuable moves are. just because so much of Go is emphasized. Like, it's easy to understand the beginning, and it's easy to study Joseki and learn all the openings. And it's easy to understand endgame tactics, but figuring out, like, you know, when something is urgent or isn't is quite different.
Yeah.
You know, and understanding, like, oh, if I play in this area, I'm gonna lose somewhere else is something that comes along with time and everything. There's a lot of that going on, like, right now, which is really interesting.
I don't know how he plays so fast.
I'm also not that invested in the outcome.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, like, the way that I think about teaching games is kind of like, there's teaching games that you want to take really seriously, and then there's other ones where it's like, it's actually easier if you just move towards the end of the game, because you can learn faster by reviewing mistakes than you can by, like, trying to critically think through everything. So, like, I know last time, like, we kind of ran out of time. We didn't really get to do much of a review.
Yeah. I still want this piece. Yep. See, until I know the flow of the game, I treat everything as if it was critical, just because that's how I evaluate myself. Because I can remember each thing.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of a mixture of, it's kind of a mixture of figuring out, like, what a group's potential territory is and whether or not it's alive or dead. And what its future potential is for being killed or not. So, like, some groups are already living and other groups will not be. And trying to determine what to do between all of those is part of the challenge.
Yeah. Like,
So,
right now, I'm not going to screw around with the lower right group. That's something for a later date. But, yeah. I get what you mean, knowing where I can invest to get more points. Yeah, I need to stop this.
So there's a lot of moves in Go that are interesting because they kind of force responses.
Yep.
There's a number of, like, approaching moves and other things that all kind of create these scenarios in which you have to respond or you're going to lose in, you know, territory, or you're going to lose a stone, or a group's going to die, all these other kind of things. So in a lot of cases, like, that's why I can play fast, is because I'm like, I'm going to play this stone, then he's going to do this afterwards. Or he's not. If he does do this, I have this move ready. If he doesn't, I'm going to do this other thing.
Yeah. See, when I'm playing against you, I feel like every one of my stones could die at almost any point, though. Like, if I stop focusing for a second.
Nah, you're doing fine.
I mean, I'm 10 minutes down on the clock already. What do you think of clans, Raiden?
Clans are good.
Yep.
We're going to put them in the game eventually.
Yeah, I'll have to join a clan at some point then. Just for, you know, community. But I'm curious how that works.
I don't know. Before I joined Blue Mammoth, I always had a no clans policy. Like I just
That's what I have
never
now, but
joined one because I don't have time or effort for all the drama involved. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, it's a good thing in a lot of ways, but it's also, yeah, a lot of upkeep.
yep.
So if you have the time, you can certainly join one and become a better player, but
We'll see on that, just because I do not have a lot of time. And then the same guy that asked that was wondering about clan rankings.
I don't know if there's going to be clan rankings, like, because the question with that is, like, how do you decide how you rank them? Is it total number of ELO? Is it average ELO? Like, is it based on how many matches they play a week? Like, at what point do you decide, like, oh yes, that's the proper way to rank these clans? You know, and, like, it can just get super messy if you don't come up with a system that's actually fair for everybody. So, that's, yeah.
This is an interesting little battle.
It's alright, I've already read it out to completion. I know how this is gonna go. Hopefully. Unless I missed something. Which I probably did.
I'm hoping you did, because I don't see this ending well for me. But, yeah.
Yeah, there was a different way you could have played this that probably would have gotten you a better result.
I had a feeling, but I don't see it. I kind of invested myself heavily up here, and yeah. How am I going to make this work? I'm gonna have to keep walking this, aren't I?
Well, yeah, that's the safest way to go.
Yep. I feel like now is my chance to break out of this.
Bum, bum. What are you trying to break out of?
Well, I don't really want to do a battle up here. I feel like it's not going to benefit me in the long run. Oh. Yeah, yes, a Brawlhalla dev is streaming Go.
That's exactly correct, sir.
It's a fantastic game.
Everything you've summarized is true. Yeah, you're gonna lose on time again.
I know.
It's gonna be funny. I'm gonna be like, the board position hasn't settled.
Yes, I warned you, I'm still really bad about time. I just don't know how to work around it. The thing is, this eye actually looks, maybe not eye, but this area looks really interesting. What am I gonna do here?
So have you been reading about cutting?
Yeah. I've been trying to watch, but I can still fall to it just because I read about it.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Hmm. By the way,
Yeah.
Havok was wondering if you would be down to like analyze Is My Game we had that went to completion.
Yeah, I
What
can do
was
that.
okay. I have no idea. Like I saved the file on this thing, but I don't know what to do with it.
Oh, well, I mean, if it's a KGS file, you just open it.
Okay.
Instead of logging into the server, you can open a file, and then it just takes you to this screen, basically, with the game in review mode.
Okay. Because it was a pretty great match. Right. Yeah, I don't know if you saw what I mentioned in chat earlier, but I discovered the series I've been reading
Yeah.
has Go in it,
Nice.
and I've been reading it for months.
Nice.
So apparently I was exposed to it, I just had no idea.
Seems accurate.
No, I don't want to update my computer. I really would want to see how this one turns out. Should I? Yeah. Oh, I didn't expect that.
I'm just enjoying listening to Go, and I think this is Mega Man music.
Yes. Oh, 14 people.
Whoa. People are getting hype about
it-
Go.
It went up. That's what.
There's some pro guy, like some super professional player in here just laughing. Just, just like, drunk youngins on the internet. So delightful. So delightful.
Oh, there's questions in chat.
The score determined by the number of players' pieces on the board. It is not. So it is determined by the number of spaces within that player's control. So basically, what that means is like this area down here in the bottom left, it's a very good chance that this point and these ones here are going to end up becoming surrounded by my stones. And each one of those little grid points is going to have is going to equal a point.
That makes me nervous. Because I thought I was winning down here.
Are you? Or are
Guess
you
not.
about to die?
I doubt die, but
What's going to happen? Who's going to win? Nobody knows. Because it's go time. Motherfuckers.
Ah,
3 people just
time gets
left.
too much lower. Yeah,
What?
if time gets much lower, I'm going to have to just kind of nervously click and hope that I know how things play out.
Through that.
Because I feel like you would at least like some game to analyze post thing.
It is nice. I like post-game analysis. It's honestly part of what helps you improve the fastest if you have the time to do it properly.
Yep. Okay, I gotta stop that. So do you have any tips then for, like, apart from the section of the book, kind of just working on shortening time between moves down?
Well, I really wouldn't get too worried about time, honestly. Like, time's just one of those arbitrary things we have to deal with because we're playing online, right? Like, it's not a actual metric for whether or not you're playing well, you know? One of the things, like, I think is just because you're coming from being a very well-skilled chess player. I know that in chess, there's a lot of time is spent reading, and reading ahead and looking at what your opponent is going to do next and why that might be good or bad or terrible or awful, and trying to figure out how to outplay them 12 moves down the line.
Yeah.
Like, what's the average number of moves in a chess game? Like, how many turns are there typically?
My average game length is like 15 to 20 turns, but if you play at a lower level, it's probably 30-40.
Okay. So in Go, there's usually like around 120 turns.
I've noticed, that's why I get headaches.
So it is impossible to read out the entire game, really. And so, like, the more that you play and the more that you practice, the more you'll be able to figure out kind of appropriate responses in different situations and how it's potentially going to affect the board later down the line. But the thing is like, that just takes a lot of time. Like, you just have to play games and get used to the way that the board looks and the way that the board feels and why that's, important or not. And so, like, in the beginning, it's really just good to kind of concentrate on, like, how do the stones walk? Like, what are the simplest plays that I can make right now?
I should probably do that, because I've not been trying to make simple plays.
Yeah, like, you've been trying to make, like, very intelligent plays, which is cool until you realize that, like, you don't need really intelligent plays to win a game. You just need, like, you can win a game by playing very, very simply. And I've played games against people who are much better than me that have had, like, one stone captured throughout the whole thing, and they still beat me. Because they're just playing very solidly, very simply, without a lot of complex play or aggressive attacking or anything like that, and they still just play fantastically. So yeah, it's an interesting thing.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll have to just keep working on that. So I guess for this whole part, I probably could have just, in my head, known I needed to walk this. I guess a part of it that comes into this is also, like, when I play Havok, we probably win just a few seconds for most of our moves.
Mm-hmm.
But since you're actually like genuinely good, I really want to try to beat you. Because I'm really competitive.
Well, I understand that.
Bummer. Oh, hey, Berthan.
Hey, Berthan, what's up, man?
I have to admit that like the upper side of this board looks pretty cool. Like that was, I don't know. I just like how we walked it down, even though I know I probably lose that exchange.
Hmm.
Dang it.
Can you tell me why some of the whites have patterns and some don't? Because they're just different colored stones, man.
It'd be boring if they all just looked the same.
Patterns don't really matter, bro. It's about what's in your heart, your soul, and your mind and stuff.
Ow.
Yeah. Sorry, that could have gone much worse, and
Oh, I'm sure.
at least you found the better thing. I mean, I still might be able to kill you
Yeah.
in all of the places, but you can live there.
Mm-hmm. I'm playing incredibly defensive this time. I feel like you've kind of figured out a little bit of how I like to play.
Birth by patterns, do you mean how the stones are laid out, or are you talking about the little stripes on the stones? The little stripes on the stones are just to make it look less boring.
Oh man. My friends all saw me log into Diablo and now I'm getting lots of messages.
Oh yeah.
Yep. My friend got one of the best furnaces in the game just now. Again.
Nice.
That's my bad luck, by the way. My friends always get what I need.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a rough break, man.
I get pretty salty about it. I think that's why I quit Diablo last time, was just because that kept happening.
That's why most
Shoot.
people quit Diablo. When you're like, let's play, we're friends, and then like your friends totally outgear you, and then you're like, oh shit, we're not feeling that great about everything tonight and otherwise. Well, shit.
Yep. Soon I'm gonna have to start playing haphazard. So I'm trying to play as smart as I can, at least for now.
Smart is good. I like smart.
Now, if you challenge me to a game of chess,
I'll get
I-
wrecked.
maybe not. Are you good at chess?
I have no context for that question.
Like, okay. How much chess have you played?
Let's see. I started playing chess when I was 3,
That's earlier than I did.
but I haven't played a lot of it in my lifetime. Trying to
Yeah,
figure out what the biggest move is right now. And it's annoying because it's annoying. That's why.
Yeah. I'm trying very hard to make it annoying to try to make a big play.
Let's just be mean. Ah!
Okay. Hello, Creed.
What's up, part of the creed? Techy is trying to best the one, the only based god, Raven.
And if you look at the stone score, you can see it's not happening.
My 10Q skills. What the capture score doesn't mean anything.
Well, no, but I mean, you've definitely had a much more successful run than, say, last time.
Perhaps. Maybe
So
I'm
when I
just
run
treating
out of
you with
time-
more respect now.
Or that. So, when I run out of time, it gives me like 10 seconds per move or something like that, right?
Yeah, it's called Bio Yomi.
Okay.
The idea is that you're supposed to honorably finish the game.
Gotcha.
That's what's supposed to happen.
I'm really bad about breaking these honorable things, not starting in the
No,
corners.
That's what
and-
happens when you play a Western game like chess. People from the West, we're all dicks, man.
Hey,
Well-
whoa, I have a very honorable start. If I start on the white side, I will always start Queen's Gambit. 100% of the time.
Yeah, is that like a nicety thing? Is that like, does that go
No,
back
it's
to?
never lost on it.
I'll be nice. I'll just always play the move that always wins the game for me.
No, but people always know, so they at least know what to try to play.
Fair. The fuck is that move? Get out of here, son. That's my house.
But I want to be there.
No, you don't. You want to get out.
Ah, fine. I'm trying to get the small things back.
Not an end game yet. You've got very urgent things to take care of.
I know.
Do I play Brawlhalla anymore? I played Brawlhalla earlier today. I was rocking out the dev stream. I don't play it as much on my own time because I play it at work and stuff.
Something I wish I could get away with saying. Playing game at work.
Well, you think that.
I mean,
It's different.
my old work was League of Legends related, but it's still not quite the same.
Yeah.
You can only watch streams for so long before getting absolutely sick of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, this is dead. Alright, 48 seconds left.
Bum.
Trying to plan so many moves ahead now before I have to start blitzing it.
Oh man. Oh man. What's gonna happen? All of
Good
the
question.
things. Oh, I think I played the wrong move there. Oh
I
well.
hope so. Alright, time to start playing haphazard. Man, this is not gonna go well.
That's not gonna go well.
me not planning, just placing based on luck.
Oh. It's alright.
Yep, I was like, that's gonna.
No! It's alright,
Shoot.
just play it out.
Yep. That's what I'm trying to do. I screwed that up. Yes, Creed, he does.
Oh,
I am
man,
so bad at thinking fast.
all this time to like make decisions and shit.
Oh no.
What am I gonna do with all this fucking time? Guess I'll play right there just to be annoying. What are you gonna do now, Techy? What are you gonna do?
Nothing intelligent, I'm sure. I want a piece, even though I know it's gonna hurt me. Hmm. Creed, I will play you in bullet chess and you will see how that goes for you.
Them's fighting
Like-
words. Fighting words.
Shoot. Hmm.
This is good. This is all healthy. I will probably fuck up too. I've had 3 beers, Techy. You're playing old drunk go master.
That doesn't improve how I'm gonna feel about losing now.
You just, you know. It's alright. If you miss the next move, all of your stones are gonna die.
Probably.
In like
And I'm really
one-
blind.
One blow. It's gonna be hilarious. Well, okay, not all of them, just a big fat ass chunk of them.
They're probably gonna die. I'm just gonna put there, and it's gonna die.
No, that's an end game move. That's fine. You gotta protect it now. Now you play it A4, otherwise I'm gonna kill it.
Okay, fine.
We'll talk about that afterwards.
No, I
Boom,
understand.
you're all
why.
dead. Okay, carry on.
Oh. Oh, I see. Shoot.
Yeah. See,
Oh,
and
wow.
like that's the thing is like if you played a bunch, you would notice like, oh wait, all these stones that seem to be all hanging out together aren't actually quite connected yet. I should probably fix that and like, you know, do something with it about it
Yeah.
maybe. It's all good. All your stones are not actually gonna die, just
Oh, I know, just a good chunk of them.
some.
Things were going well, and then I just I had to think fast.
Yeah, it's cool, man. So another very important move for you to play, and if you miss it, you're gonna die. But if you don't play in 5 seconds, you're gonna die too. So you should play like now. There you go. But see, that's what I mean. Is like you just don't have to worry so much about like winning at the beginning. Like just kind of play what feels natural. This isn't chess. This isn't like, oh man, you shouldn't have moved to that square because you totally gave up defending your pawn and your bishop at the same time, and now the queen's in your house like just fucking up your shit. You know, like it's not that straightforward. Like
Yeah.
you can make a move and it can do 100 things at the same time.
Oh, I ran out. I zoned out. Whoops. Shoot.
No. All right. It's
I
fine.
caught
We'll
myself
play on.
thinking.
Oh
Oh, well,
okay. So let's review.
You know
the
how
game.
it'll end.
So I did that. You would do this. I would play here. Then you couldn't do anything there.
Nope.
If you did something silly, like, I don't know, maybe you played up here or something. Well, let's find you a good move. What is Techy's really good move? Techy's really good move is right here. Because it connects all these groups and now they can live, maybe. because you have an almost eye. But, like, if you play this center area wrong, this part here that I'm marking is all
Yeah,
dead.
would all die.
So,
I thought they were already gonna die, so I just kind of started trying to distract you.
well, so that's the thing is like, so here's all the stones that are kind of like, sort of cut off from each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's that group, and then you also have these guys up here that now also have no life, unless you figure out how to make all these stones live. The only way to do that is to make some eye space. But
Yeah.
you have one really good move for that, which is right here.
Yep.
So if on your turn you hadn't played that, but you played over here instead,
Mm-hmm.
now this whole center group lives, which is way freaking better.
Yep.
Like, I still win by a stupidly wide margin, but
Yeah.
But-
No. Yeah. I held my own until I ran low.
anyway, let's go back to the beginning. Alright, so
Okay.
so this move is what I mean by like a 50Q move. Or you're a genius and no one realizes it.
Okay.
So moves like this, the reason why moves like this typically aren't seen in the opening is because it doesn't really provide much of a threat to the stone at D4 because it's so far away. Like, there's no... It's not threatening the corner at all. Like, I can just ignore it pretty much. And on top of that, it's not so close to the stone at D16 that it can really do much to support it, because at any given time I can just hop in here and I still have plenty of breathing space before I bump up against you.
Yeah.
You know, I can come into any of these areas and feel completely fine. In fact, like, here I can still hop out and make extensions, like, the whole way. And then if I did want to respond to this move, which I don't think I did, I could just play here, and now I have this, like, giant fucking corner area that's massive. It's, like,
Yeah.
awesomely huge and free. And then, like, what are you going to do? Maybe you can play down here, and then I just play this. And now I have a ginormous corner of, like, hilarity and awesomeness.
Yeah. My bad habit is I try to spread out around the edges to try to
Yeah.
corral people.
And it's cool because you ended up in a good position later on. I felt like you had a really good opening. So, like, you played here, which is, you know, what we just talked about.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. No, you didn't. That was
No, I played-
that was the review thing. Where's my review panel? Here it is. Okay, so I Tanuki'd because I was like, that's a stupid move. I'm gonna go and play the move I was gonna play anyway and get Sente. So this is really unorthodox. It's not
Okay.
that it's bad. I think there's a Joseki involved in it. I don't know what it is because no one ever plays it.
Okay.
It's this move though that I played, this low approach on the third line, is the single most common way to approach a corner, like in modern Go. Like, it's very standard. So, like, learning a couple responses to this is typically the best way to start studying Joseki, because you're going to see this more than anything else.
Okay.
And it's almost always how I approach, because I'm boring and lame and I play the same way every time. So this was interesting. What this stone does, and I'm going to keep talking until you tell me to shut up.
No, I'm
So
listening.
one of the things to think about a lot in the opening is to think about, like, imagine that every stone has a voice. Every
Okay.
stone is making a statement when it lands on the board. The stone is always saying something. So this one is basically saying, I want to build territory somewhere on this side of the board, and I want to reduce your corner.
Yeah.
So when you this is called capping a stone, when you play in front of them jumping out towards the middle. And what this says is, like, it's okay, you can live down there, that's fine. I just don't want you jumping out later. I don't want you getting to this area over here because this center area is valuable to me for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So you cap the white stone to keep them low, which is fine. But it also means that I'm going to get greedy and try to make as much territory as I possibly can.
Yeah, which is why I needed to jump down and cut you off.
So this was actually really intelligent. You could have played here and just played standardly, you know, where I would gone ahead and played, what the Joseki is. And if we had played out the normal variation, I would have still had to respond to you with this. And now my white stones look really, really cramped. You've got this nice formation down here that's going to turn into life. And you still have Sente afterwards and could keep attacking my stones and forcing me to deal with the fact that I'm not going to be able to live easily down there.
Yeah.
I have to jump out to the center now, and then you can push me around. Instead, you played a little bit wide, so I played here, because the reason here, it attacks this stone and puts pressure on you, and it also settles this position here.
Yeah.
So, like, your stone is being attacked while I'm chilling. And I'm stable now. Like, I'm going to be able to make life somehow with these stones on the third line. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want me to keep being this analytical, or?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, this move, if you had played it, say... So, like, at this point, like, you have this stone here where it's kind of urgent. You should probably do something with it. You decided to play somewhere else. So, like, here, this stone's kind of low. It ends up making some good AG later on, but, like, you could play here. You could play down here and, like, reduce a corner. You could settle the stone's troubles over here by jumping out. Like, there's a number of other things that you could have done. So this was, like, one of those, like, oh, he's playing like a beginner. Okay, fun.
Oh, okay.
Like, the only thing it really does is it makes it hard for me to approach on this side, but it's okay because I can still play over here if I want and keep reducing your corner. So, like, I don't know.
In my head, I was, like, worried that you would try to find a way to slip out there, so I was like, I'd better put pressure up here. But now I'm thinking about it, I was like, that wasn't very smart.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a bad idea because it prevents me from attacking on both sides. Because, like, say you played, I don't know, so, like, say you played this, right? And I'm like, okay, how do I really want to fuck you up? Like, I could play over here, even though that feels really tight. I could play in this area somewhere just to be annoying, or I could have gone over here. So it wasn't bad, it was just kind of, like, really unusual because you had this more urgent move right here, which ends up, like, getting attacked later.
Yeah.
Alright, let's see. And so I'm like, okay, he played elsewhere, I'll play elsewhere. And then you ignored the approach. So that's one of the things that you shouldn't do is don't, like, learn a couple basic Joseki. I'll send you a link.
Okay. I would appreciate that.
Because there is actually a really decent website that has all the variations and even quotes like the pro games that they're pulled from.
Okay.
It's called I2Go. Anyway, if you go on there, you can actually, like, play through all the variations, and it explains why the moves are good and what all the variations are. It's very comprehensive, and it's a really good way to study, at least initially. Like, you don't want to lean on it too much. Like, you don't want to be checking it as you play and all that jazz, but it'll give you a good sense of why things are standard. Yeah. So anyway, after you did that, I was like, okay, if he wants to go down there, I'll just attack this corner. Because I was like, if he kicks me, I can jump out. And if he, kicks me over here, I can do whatever. Like, you're pincered.
Okay.
And then you ignored that too. And did this, which is really aggressive. So this ended up, like, turning into a weird thing where where you kind of got the left side and some of the corner, and I got a big chunk on the bottom. So, like, if you think about it right here, when you play this move, if you look around, like, how many stones are in the area, it's equal now for black and white, right?
Yeah.
So that's not good. Like, you want to, if you're going to attack, you typically want to have an advantage, right? Like, it's just like military strategy. Like, you don't want to fight a battle with even odds. You just don't.
Yeah.
You always want to fight
When
with
you have
an
the
advantage.
option to,
Attack from the high ground, set up an ambush, whatever it is, you always want the advantage. So, if you wanted to attack this, if you wanted to attack, this was probably not time to do it, because what I'm trying to do is attack the stone. Like, here you've got a couple of good options. You can either extend out here and make a happy little, four space extension here, or 2-space extension. And the 2-space extension is really good on the third line because you can typically build life off of it. and it's usually pretty solid. So anytime you can make a two-space extension on the third line, that usually means like, okay, I can get at least one eye here, two if I play it correctly. The other thing that you could do instead of settling that is to just approach from over here. And then, you know, if I respond like this, then you can at least start building something over here on with this other stone that you have, or, you know, playing this afterwards. And now you have a lot more to work with over here instead of starting a fight, because this type of move is super aggressive. And you just didn't have a lot to support it with, which is why like the result ended up being kind of weird. Like if we fast forward like all the way to the end, if we compare like the amount of points that white got to the amount of points that you know, so you ended up with this little chunk of territory here, and you're gonna kill this too. So you get this chunk, which is about 10 points, and then I end up getting all of this, which is about 18 or 20. So, you know, sometimes like those exchanges end up making a interesting difference.
Oh, sorry if you hear any background noise. It's really windy here.
That's okay. I know you're about to like challenge Creed to a money match, so.
No.
All right. Let's.
He can wait until we're done. And.
Oh, so. Yeah, I should probably teach you about this. So, like, one of the other things to note is like if you want to make life in the corner, one of the really key points is to have a stone either on the 3-3 point or protecting it in some way. Because that's usually your anchor for making life in the corner and having control over it. And as long as there isn't something preventing someone from reducing that, like your corner is still going to be able to be reduced by a lot. So like in this case up here, you tack down here and that move was good. And then like you can see right here when you play this stone. Like I assume what you're trying to do is like you're trying to make life over here, right? Like you want at least this little house of stuff to make at least one eye, right? And you're also approaching the corner. So the thing is, at this point, like this 3-3 spot at R3 ends up being incredibly crucial, because if I play somewhere else, like let's say I play up here, right? Now you move here. All of a sudden, your little pieces of territory here has grown to all of this, and it's just tripled in size, basically. So like if we compare, like, you know, if we go here and like play through this variation, you know, let's just say that's how it goes.
And then I end with that territory. It's,
you know,
great.
So it's that compared to
what happened,
where it ends up going, like at the end of the game, where if we look at the corner, so you do manage to reduce it later, and then the big fight breaks out. But this group of yours here ends up being this group is dead. I don't know if you noticed that or not. But that whole piece ends up dying completely. These guys will probably live.
I mean, it's hard not to.
But yeah, just because I'm in here like reducing all the eye space, and we can see how that turned into a fight later. But like pretty much all of that could have been avoided.
If I just space my stuff out better.
Yeah, a little bit. So like here, for example, the reason that I played here instead of playing up top was because you should have played at E17 ages ago. So I was like, oh, well, if he wants to attack that stone, I can give that up, because he's got to play another move to actually threaten it. So I'll play down here and secure my big corner, hopefully. So you ended up attacking later. And then, you know, I'll just see what he does next. So yeah, so you played a third stone, and then there's kind of this rule that says if you're going to sacrifice a stone, extend once. Because basically now this group has become 5 times as hard to kill. Which, like, even if you're planning on sacrificing it, like, having a group of 2 stones together instead of just one provides, like, double the AG which is a Japanese term for like funny business, which we end up taking advantage of later.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then so you can see like as soon as you solidified your position up there, which by the way you didn't really have to play that move unless I did something.
Okay.
Like, because and this is part of just like getting more game experience, right? Like, so if I play here, which is fine, you could play like, let's say you play here to pressure my white stone.
Yeah.
If I cut here, you're gonna be able to kill it, no matter what. So like, because of it being on the second line, so this was kind of a wasted move. And some of those like just come from knowing when things are safe or when they're not, which just comes over time. So this was really good. This is what gave your group life over there for a little while, until we got into a big fight.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was good. That was good. This was really good. And then basically here I was like, okay, here I have a problem with this move, and this move was actually really good.
Okay, I was worried.
So this move was really good because now what happens is like I have to make this guy or this guy live somehow. Otherwise, you're gonna get the entire top of the board.
Okay.
Like there's no real way. Like I could play here and maybe reduce a little. I could jump in this way, but like unless I can figure out how to make one of these two groups live, like you're gonna get territory out the wazoo. That's gonna be like 40 points or something. Yeah. I cannot have that. So
you had to jump.
I have to start trying to get out somehow. And this is really interesting because this kind of scenario is something that happens all the time and that most people don't really understand or comprehend when it's happening. So like when you realize that I'm trying to jump out to make life, the beautiful thing is that now you can decide. You don't have to try to kill me. You just don't. You can decide to push me in any direction you want. Because I'm going to be struggling to live and to connect it to any other group of white stones that I can. And meanwhile, you can pretty much determine where you want to put stones. So what ended up happening is, we had all of these things where I struggled to connect and I was trying to get out and all the rest of it. You tanuki'd, which was not a good idea at the time. You see, the first thing I did was jump out. And the reason for that is why the big fight at the bottom erupted, was because I gave you two moves down there so I could let the top live. Because now this is where the rest of that fight breaks out. But, like, this is kind of another thing. So, let's see. So, like, you play here, and you get another opportunity to play a second stone. So, like, you could just play here, because now this stone is providing a whole lot of nonsense and extra cutting points where you're going to be able to force these two stones around, and in the process, get rid of the fifth one. Because I'm going to be trying to do something with these and keep part of my corner. So if you do something like this, and if I were to do the traditional response, now you have all these, like, funny weaknesses that you can exploit because of the extra stone that you have down there. But instead we ended up fighting like crazy, which was fun.
This was a violent game.
So yeah, I felt like during this whole sequence, like, that you bounced around quite a lot without actually settling the position in a lot of ways. So let's look at this real quick. So here you try to cut. So jumping between two stones like this, it does work, and you had the supporting stone to do it. Like, this cut never works if you don't have stones nearby, but you had help, so it was a good move. And here is kind of like the decision of how this is going to go. And so you did the right thing by cutting off the white group here. But the challenge is now is that you have to actually secure. You have to secure the top. So, being like, all of this happened. Let's see how far back it was when I read it. Yeah, pretty much all of this happened because of this stone being here. which let me crawl out and make life and do all the rest of the stuff. So like here's an example too where like you could have salvaged part of this by like here where I do this, instead of playing down here and trying to get some of the corner, if you had played locally like this, it could have started a co-fight first, or at least like extended out into territory, so that you're partially settling this top group. The other thing that you could have done is like as soon as you get to this point where you realize like, let's see. Yeah, let's say like right here. Like right here you realize that I'm going to be able to connect and start crawling out and doing all this other stuff. And you really want to get rid of this stone because you're like, you know what? It's actually fine if he takes this left area. I'm going to go and take this chunk. So you can start aiming for that side part of it by just playing here. Because, of course, like the first thing I'm going to do is play here. And then you play this. And now this stone is still under a load of pressure and has to do something. And these guys are
potential to take the corner.
Yeah. So it's just something to think about. Like, you don't always have to make everything live or try to win everywhere, because sometimes you can sacrifice a lot or sacrifice a little to gain a lot.
I think I just need to look at it more as like what you were talking about, where last time we played, where like each pebble has like an aura of power around it.
Yeah.
And just play off that instead of play off like where I feel pieces would make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, so like all of this, like this whole big battle down here, I feel like you were trying to kill it, but you probably shouldn't have been trying to kill it.
It seemed the right thing to do at the time.
You know, like to kill it properly, like it would have helped to have stones like here somehow, you know, and kind of like that's what you end up doing. Like you start aiming towards like, how would I be able to attack this from both sides at once? But because like all of these moves low to the ground like this early in the game, like if it doesn't result in a kill, it's usually at a disadvantage for you. So like we both were playing here. Basically, I was trying not to die. You were trying to kill me. And for the most part, I was like 1 or 2 stones ahead throughout most of it. Yeah. And I was perfectly fine with doing this because one, I'm gonna try desperately to live. 2, I know I'm gonna be able to connect to something because I'm gonna either be able to connect underneath with this. I'm gonna be able to connect down here to this group, and worst case scenario, I can try to connect up to this, and a whole bunch of things are cut off, or I can crawl over this way. Like I just had a lot of different options for how I was gonna make it out. So, I don't know. Yeah, and in the long run, let's see, this one. Yeah, so this was a good idea down here to make more liberties. This was good too because you cut me off. I feel like this was just something that you didn't really notice until it was too late because throw-ins like that are really hard to see. So like if we go back to, let's see, which move was it? There's a way to like zip to moves, or at least there used to be.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Move tool. Nope, that's not it. It's an alt. Damn it. I used to know how to do this. Yeah, it's this one right here. So like,
oh yeah, I didn't notice until later, and I was like, oh, I gotta
stop this. So this is something here where like you could look at this and say like, basically what I saw here was like I can't ladder him. I'm kind of getting laddered. What I can do is create some AG and some weak groups. But like here, what you could do is you could just go like, you know what, that's fine. I'm gonna let him do that, and then now this group down here is solid. His group lived, but my group's gonna live too. Or like as time goes on, like when you get to this point, you could just say, you know what, I'm just gonna connect up, and then when I play down here, you just play solidly. But then, like this right here, like this thing where you've got a stone right here threatening the cut is something that's just dangerous, which is why I didn't have any fear about playing this at all. I was just like, this will be fine because I have help. I've got, if you play up here, I'll connect, and if you play here, I'll cut, and then what are you gonna do? Like,
There's not much I can do around there, yeah. I realized you were outplaying me pretty quick in that corner, but I wanted to try to get some value out of it.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the scary thing is the longer you play into something, into a sequence, like the more stones you invest, right? Like every turn, you're potentially giving away a point. So sometimes it's like there's scenarios where you just kind of got to cut your losses. And even at this point in the game, like if we come back to here, like, and this is just part of like thinking about the whole board stuff, right? Like, if you're playing this correctly, let's see if we fast forward a little bit. Like instead of so this was actually an unnecessary move, for example. Like it forced me into responding to it, but because of the rest of the AG, like was able to capture it. So like instead of playing over there to reduce like one potential eye, you could play like right here, and now like these 3 stones are gonna die.
Yeah.
Like as I continue to walk out this way, we could go here, and you could have just like made territory all along this top space here, so on and so forth.
Okay.
So it's kind of like that, and that's one of the things that like a lot of beginners have trouble with, is kind of learning when to just let things die. Be like, oh, it's fine, I can sacrifice that. Because even at this point, like, let's see, this is the last thing I'll go over because I want to go out a cigarette. Let's see, where were we at? Yeah, so even at this point, like, we're here. Let's see, this is fine. That was good because it kills an eye, so that was really smart. So let's say right here, like, if we just look at the board real quick, like, yes, there's a really important play right here for you. And for me, okay, put that in wrong. So let's say you play there and everything, and this settles itself and the rest of it. Yeah, so let's say we get to this point and I play here and you're like, okay, that's gonna die, my other guys are gonna live, we're fine. Let's find the biggest move on the board. And this is one of the things that I try to do like every, I don't know, 30 to 50 turns or so, is just stop and be like, what is the biggest play on the board right now?
Yeah.
And for, and usually the biggest play on the board is the same for both players. Sometimes it's a little different. But like all of these places right here
are high territory, good points.
Right. And the way that the board is shaped right now, like even
a little bit of the center group would even be good.
Yeah, a little bit. Like just to prevent it. Because like, so, if we look at just one of these, let's say that we're going to play, let's say that you take this really big point, right? And I take this one. So like just by playing this one stone, the outcome of this ends up being dramatically reduced as far as to what the outcome is of that center area. And like I'm playing through this really fast just so you can get a gist of it, but like there's a lot of different things that could happen depending on how people play it, etc. But what's interesting about the idea of like the biggest points on the board is like, okay, so let's say, where are we at with our little diagram? Did I lose it? Did I lose it? I think I lost it. Dang it, you're supposed to stay on the board. Anyway, so let's say that like, let's say you played here instead, right?
Yeah.
I can go ahead and play one of these other really big points.
Yep. And then we'd end up fighting over that,
and so on. And so there's always give and take. It's just not as obvious all the time. As far as to what you're getting out of it and all the rest of it. There's actually another phrase for that called "miai," which is basically like, if you take this, I'll take that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it boils down to like identical moves, just played in different places on the board.
And then you decide which one you'd rather fight for.
Yeah. So, I hope some of that made sense.
Yep, a lot of it did. I understand pressure a whole lot better now.
Yeah. Oh no. I love Go, man. Beautiful game.
Yep. And Creed understands.
Creed gets it.
Yep.
Creed gets it. All right, man. Well, thanks for coming on the stream.
Yep, it was fun.
We'll play again soon.
Yep. Goodbye.
All right, peace. All right, guys. I am gonna be going to sleep because I have a delightful day tomorrow filled with Fire Emblem. Yeah, that's gonna happen. If you guys want to learn how to play Go, the interactive way to go is a great way to learn the rules. It's a website. I'm going to link it in chat right now. Part of the Creed. You can pick it up and check it out. You can play Go for free on a number of Go servers across the world. This game was played on KGS, which is a Go server that's online. People play from around the world. There's a number of other ones and the rest of it. Go is incredibly easy to pick up. Takes a lifetime to master. It's